Now, you and I had an interesting conversation. I thought about this yesterday. Quinn Mathews threw a complete game, 9 innings for Stanford, and won an 8-3 game against Texas that allowed them to play the next night, which was last night. Stanford won. They're going to the College World Series. I don't think anyone should ever throw 156 pitches, ever. Here's what Quinn Mathews said after the game on ESPN.
Quinn, you just finished off a legendary performance, 156 pitches. What were the last few innings like in the conversation about you finishing this?
Yeah, I mean, I told them I was good to go. It wasn't like that they were going to try and take the rock out of my hand. I mean, I gave up a hit there that made it a little more interesting. But, I mean, did the job. The team got the win, but we're not done yet, so we got to get ready for tomorrow.
What was the last discussion when Thomas came out in the ninth?
He goes, let's have an adult conversation. I said, I'm getting this kid out. And again, pretty stirring conversation there. But, I mean, they gave me the leeway there. I knew that it was my last hitter of the game. I didn't know what my pitch count was at. But, like I said, I knew I wanted the rock. And, I mean, at least give the bullpen a shot tomorrow, and we'll be ready to go.
To be fair, that would be more of a statement than an adult conversation. Oh, I'm going to get this guy out.
That's basically what he said. Yeah. Because I walked off, and he's like, all right, that wasn't much of an adult conversation, Quinn. And I said, yeah, it was. You know me. Come on now, Eats.
All right, and now they're College World Series bound.
For the third straight year.
For the third straight year. And so Quinn had a big hand in that, and he joins us now. Whole lot of questions, bunch of stuff to get to. Excited to have you. Quinn, you're on with Willard and Dibs, 95.7 The Game. Good afternoon. And first and foremost, congratulations on the wins the last 2 nights and heading to the World Series.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me today. And, yeah, two good team wins the last couple of days.
We've been looking at your numbers after this. Obviously, this got national attention, 156 pitches. To me, with analytics the way they are, there's a reason guys aren't throwing that much. So I've never met you before, Quinn, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm concerned for your arm. Why is that? Is that something that you and the team are still willing to do?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I appreciate the concern, but I'm not too concerned. Like I just talked to my trainer literally 2 minutes ago, asked me how I was feeling. I'm just normal soreness after a start today. And it's hard when, people haven't really followed us all year, haven't followed me specifically. And they're like, they see this 156 pitch mark, which is, hey, it's definitely out of the ordinary. It's out of the ordinary for me. But in terms of workload, it was just an extra probably 20, 25 pitches off my average over about an 8 to 10 week period where I was probably throwing about 120 to 130 pitches in every start. So, I mean, again, the workload for me, it's definitely out of the ordinary, but nothing of too much concern, to be honest with you.
The old Little League rag, for lack of a better way to describe it, was pitcher has a rubber arm. And, in fact, you probably take that as a compliment. Do you have a rubber arm?
No, I don't have a rubber arm. Nobody has a rubber arm, unfortunately. But, I mean, like I said, I've done the preparation, not just like this year. It's over probably my entire lifetime where I've just thrown a ton. I've always thrown as much as I could, as often as I could, and as long as I could. That was kind of the motto that my friends and I growing up kind of lived by. And it was just, hey, just keep your arm in shape as often as you can. And, if you get hurt, unfortunately, it's just a part of the game, but you can't be afraid of injury because, like I said, it is an unfortunate part of the game. But, no, I don't have a rubber arm. I've just, done the preparation. When the task was asked, I was able to, kind of answer the bell.
Quinn, a few other ways to ask it. Let's go right to the game. You're in the last inning. You're up by 5. Why was it so important to you to finish the game?
I mean, personally, I just wanted to pitch the 9 innings. Nothing more than that. And also just save the bullpen. I knew the Monday game, it was going to take the whole team to kind of get us through it. And I didn't really want a Texas hitter having any sort of look or advantage going into that next day because whoever pitched that 9th inning was going to be hot the next day. So I didn't want any guy in that lineup, having seen one of those guys or having seen them now twice. So for me, it was just, hey, get through the 9 innings personally, but also for the team's sake. I didn't want to give Texas any sort of edge that, I knew Brant was coming into the game and he hadn't pitched that Saturday game. So like he'll be hot for the Monday game. And I didn't want a single guy in that lineup, having seen Brant like one time through and having a second at bat against him on that Monday.
Quinn Mathews from Stanford here on 95.7 The Game. You were drafted last year in the 19th round, elected to come back, obviously, to try to win the College World Series. Do you have designs on being a pro baseball pitcher when this is all done?
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. I mean, like you said, I came back for the reason of winning a national title. But I also had some personal growth to do, I'd say, off the field. And I mean, it's obviously a hard decision when people look at it like, hey, why didn't this kid go pro? Why did he turn it down? Why did he elect to come back? And, you know, unfortunately for me, it wasn't all baseball related. I had growth I needed to do as a human being off the field with friends, with family, and just kind of, you know, finding a little bit of joy and happiness in life outside of baseball. So, I mean, for me, the goal is always to be a professional baseball player and be a big leaguer. But like I said, I still had some growth to be done here at Stanford.
Stanford starter Quinn Mathews threw 156 pitches in a complete game, 9-inning performance to beat Texas 2 nights ago. Stanford then wins on a walk-off last night. More on that in a second. And they're College World Series bound. Quinn, how old are you? 21, 22?
I'm 22 years old.
Okay.
I'm pretty old when it comes to college.
Over the hill.
Yeah. Do you see gray in the mirror when you look? Are you getting there yet?
No, not quite yet, but this team's pushing me there, I would be honest with you.
Well, so what if I said this to you, Quinn? What if I said this to you? Because Dibs and I, we were both 22 once. What if I said to you that at 22, you always think you're okay? You always think you're indestructible. So, you know, when you guys talk about going through the decision-making process, and not just the 156, you're averaging like 120 some odd pitches per game. To me, there's a reason that baseball players don't do this anymore. So is there any thought that maybe someone else needs to be involved in this decision?
I mean, if you want the honest truth, no, not really. I talked to my parents about it, talked to the people who, you know, needed to be involved in the conversation with, and just talked to myself. And I was like, this is why I came back. This is why I'm here. I mean, like I said, I appreciate the concern, not only from you guys, but from across the country. But I think there's definitely a stigma around pitch count and health and all that stuff. But like I tell people, too, I throw a ton of changeups. Those are like half pitches anyways on the arm. So it's like, I mean, you can't really look at my pitch count and be like, that's 156, 95-mile-an-hour fastballs because, one, I don't really throw that hard. And, two, like I said, they're changeups, which are like half pitches anyways.
So the manager comes out, and you know where you are pitch count-wise, at least ballpark-wise. You know you're pretty deep in the game. How does that conversation go? And I heard your quote after the game about it being kind of a forceful response, but what sort of a relationship do you have with your manager to be able to have that back and forth and be able to keep the ball?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm old, so I've been around here for 4 years. It was our pitching coach, Thomas Eager, who came out, and I'd seen that look on his face before, and he actually pulled me out of the game. And I was like, there's no way this guy's pulling me out of the game right now, not with 2 outs in the ninth. I actually didn't know where I was at pitch count-wise. I thought I was about a 130 mark, so I was off a little bit, you could say. And he comes out, and he's like, yeah, like, we're going to have an adult conversation. I said, I'm getting this kid out. And then, proceeded to kind of not politely, walk off the back of the mound. He says, come back out here. We're having an adult conversation, Quinn. That wasn't a conversation. And he said, are you good with Brant facing the top of the order if this kid gets on? And I said, no, I'm not comfortable with that, so I'm just going to get him out instead, and the game's going to be over with. And he goes, okay, and then walks back off the mound. And then I find out, not after the game, but the following day, that he was actually supposed to pull me, and he told our head coach, Esker, that he was pulling me, and Brant was ready to go, standing by the gate, and for whatever reason, he let me finish the game.
All right, so
Great story.
So what would have happened if you hadn't got that guy out, since you were not okay with being pulled then?
My day was done, and I knew that. I mean, it was the top of the order. It was the 5th time through, and I didn't know I was at 150 pitches, so I think that was probably the bottom line, was just the pitch count was getting too high. And, I mean, that leadoff guy had already got me once. He had worked a couple of at-bats, really good hitters, so I knew my day was done no matter what, and that was my last hitter of the game.
Off to Omaha for the College World Series, but first, last night, you saw that ball off the bat, little bit of a can of corn, lazy fly to right. You're probably thinking we're going to extra innings. What was your reaction when that ball hit the grass and you knew you'd won the game?
Yeah, so I actually didn't see the ball off the bat. I turned around for whatever reason, was squatting down, didn't want to watch it. It was like the first time the entire game I decided to turn around, not watch the pitch. And I heard it off the bat, and I looked up because it sounded decent. And I looked straight up because the pitcher, Lucas Gordon, was pointing up, and I was like, oh, no, pop up. So I look out to the outfield, and the center fielder's palms up, and that's never a good sign when you're a pitcher, especially that time of night. And then I see the right fielder running over, and it looks like he's got it, and then he kind of slows up, looks at the center fielder, and it's like, oh no, like you've seen that look before with our guys when we've practiced here at that like kind of weird twilight time, and then the shortstop's booking it, running as fast as he can because he's the only guy on the field that sees it. It touches the ground. I look home. Alberto Rios touches home, and the celebration kind of began.
Now, Quinn, was it a batter or two earlier that a double was hit that was off the wall that you guys all thought it was a homer, and people were coming out of the dugout? So where were you on that play?
Yeah, I was actually at the end of the dugout. I knew off the bat it wasn't gone. I mean, if there's film of that, that's the truth. You could tell just based on the launch angle, and you knew he top spun it. I mean, like I said, I've played a lot of games here. I've seen a lot of balls go over the fence off me specifically. So I know what a home run looks like and what isn't. And I knew it was going to be short, so I didn't react. And I was actually kind of pissed off because, I mean, you never like to celebrate early. It's kind of a bad omen in sports in general. And that our whole team was, basically out of the dugout. And Betts is rounding the bases thinking he's just hit a walk-off home run and almost gets thrown out at second base, which would have been pretty catastrophic.
Yeah, it would have been, and that's it's so funny that you knew it being a pitcher with the top spin. So Saturday, 11 o'clock our time, you've got Wake Forest. Are you getting the ball? And if so, what are we thinking, 160, 170 pitches?
Yeah, no, I actually don't know if I'm getting the ball yet. That's a conversation for probably later in the week. I mean, I hope to get the ball. I'm always ready for it. But no, I do not think I'll be going 160, 170 pitches. Unfortunately, if I'm throwing that many pitches to Wake Forest, I'm probably in trouble with that offense. Not saying Texas wasn't, a very good offense. I actually thought that was one of the deepest lineups we've seen all year long. But that Wake Forest team can really swing it, especially at that place. If I'm having to throw that many pitches, I'm definitely in trouble.
So maybe in an adult conversation about whether or not you'll be starting. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know at this point whether I'll be starting or not. An adult conversation will probably be had at some point. They'll probably just ask me how I'm feeling. They'll want the truth, and they'll just tell me I'm probably lying to them and good or not.
Well, Quinn, since you're an adult, I wonder what you think about the kids. Like, you're a good guy in this position now to ask. I coach Little League. We've got very clear rules about how many pitches kids are allowed to throw. At my son's age, they can only go 50, for example, and then there's a number of days off and all of that. Like, what do you make of the idea of pitch counts, Little League level, and heck, go up to the next level as well? Like, you're never throwing a $156 in a major league game. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably reasons why big leaguers don't do it. The stuff's just not there. I'm actually all for pitch count, though, at the younger age. I had played Little League. I was on a pitch count. I think, the arms are young. But for me, the biggest thing that I think has allowed me to be in the position I'm in terms of health is playing multiple sports, especially at a young age. I didn't specialize basically until my senior year of high school where I couldn't play soccer because of an ear surgery I had. But I think, taking time off, resting the arm, kind of shutting down, so to say, is just the most important thing because you hear about these kids who are playing baseball 12 months out of the year, throwing really hard. The wear and tear at a young age is awful for the arm, especially with kids throwing breaking balls and the high velocity and that sort of stuff. But, I mean, for me, pitch count, I'm all for it at a young age. I think there should honestly be a month count where you can only play so many months out of the year for a certain period of time. Go do something else that's not baseball related. Go, be a kid basically. Go play another sport. Go hang out with friends. Go do something else. So that's my opinion on it.
That's
a good call.
That I think is a great point. That's a great point. Quinn Mathews, starting pitcher for Stanford. Hey, Quinn, your third time in the World Series. In what way, knowing it's your last, will you savor this differently?
It's definitely different going into it. I mean, I'm just hoping we can win 2 games this year. We've won 1 and 0. So if we can get multiple wins, that would be awesome. And, making a deep run into it. But I definitely enjoy it a little bit more because obviously as a sophomore, I didn't really know the extent of it. It was my first year of college baseball in terms of my freshman year was kind of cut short because of COVID. So it was first year we made it. It was awesome. Brendan Beck was leading us. We had some studs, Tawa, Bruiser, guys like that played huge roles. And then junior year, it was okay, we're supposed to be here. We're the highest, ranked team in the country left. Tennessee had just lost to Notre Dame. We're supposed to be here. It's kind of our year to do it. And now this year, it's hey, we're here. Let's enjoy it, but at the same time, let's take care of business. And, I mean, unfortunately for us, we got Wake Forest in the first game, but it'll be a good test for us, I think.
Well, Quinn, congratulations. Best of luck, and also congratulations on your newfound national fame.
Yeah, I mean, the fame, I don't try to look into that stuff too much. I'm not on social media, so I'm probably not seeing actually all the extent of it, but I do appreciate it. I mean, like I said, for all the little kids out there, take care of those arms, go play another sport.
Well, you got thousands of Stanford fans now based on this appearance on our show, Quinn. So best of luck down there in Omaha and bring home the title.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear. Appreciate the support, and thanks for having me, guys.
All right, Quinn, thanks for doing it. All right, there he is, Quinn Mathews. Boy,
interesting counterpoints.
Pretty fun guy to talk to.
Yeah.
Interesting
honest,
counterpoints.
yeah.
Listen, I expect nothing different. Of course, the guy.
No, but in terms of what he told you about how he's worked his whole life like this beyond being a youth. And also the fact that he played other sports, I think it was an important message too.
That's a great message, and I completely, wholeheartedly agree with that.